Greetings and welcome to my webinar, Becoming the Best You. My name is Steve Reed. I'm with Stephen Reed Ministries, and I'm with Stephen Reed Coaching. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, and we'll jump right into it. I'm a life and marriage coach. I'm a licensed Ziglar coach, an executive coach. I'm an award-winning author, conference and keynote speaker. I've been doing this for many, many years, going on 30 plus years. And I have an absolute blast doing it. I love giving to people and helping them get the things that they want out of life. And the foundation of the program that I'm going to be sharing with you today comes right out of the halls of the Ziglar organization. Now, most of you probably know the name Zig Ziglar. He's a legend when it comes to sales training and motivation and speaking. Absolutely a phenomenal individual. Well, I did a screenshot several years ago from his Facebook page, and this is 4.7 million likes and follows on his Facebook page. And sadly passed away, going on 10 years. But this was about 2.5, almost 3 years ago now. And it's up over 6 million likes and follows today. His podcast has over 40 million downloads, one of the most sought after podcasts that's on the market today. So that's a little bit of the foundation of the background of much of this program. You've probably, if you know that name, Zig Ziglar, you've probably heard his most famous quote: "You can get everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get the things that they want." The first time I heard him say that was way back in 1981, and I knew this man was different. I knew there was something unique about him, his approach, his style, his mindset, and I started to follow him. And I started buying his books, his tapes. I went to every conference, every meeting where I could possibly see him and listen to him. I actually ended up going to the same church and had the pleasure of singing in his Sunday school class, the Encouragers class, on several different occasions while he was still alive and still teaching. So that's a little bit about me and the foundation. This book comes from Zig's son, Tom. And Tom authored the book back in the spring, or released the book back in the spring of 2019. And as I was reading through the book, I was discovering all kinds of things that I had been using for many, many years. I just didn't remember the source. Well, when I went through the licensing program to become a Ziglar Choose to Win coach, it dawned on me that I was a plagiarist. Well, since I'm licensed now, they gave me a pass for that. But so we're going to be going through some of the high-level principles that you can find in the Choose to Win book and the coaching program. I'm going to go through this pretty rapidly, so I want you to just sit back, maybe take some notes. I think you're going to find some great little nuggets as we go through this. You see, you can choose to win. You can transform your life one simple choice at a time. These are critical principles for us to recognize. So here's a question for you. Where will you be 1 year from today? Where are you going to be? Are you going to be farther ahead in your life, or are you going to be farther behind in your life? That's the question for you. So what are you looking for? You realize that man was designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, and endowed with the seeds of greatness. Thank you, Mr. Ziglar, for giving that amazing quote as well, many, many years ago. So recognize that you do have seeds of greatness that are within you. So what is your why? Why did you get up this morning? Why do you go to work? Why do you run your business? What is your why? What are the things that keep you motivated on a consistent basis? Again, I ask the question, what are you looking for? More time with your family? Are you looking for financial freedom, better health, accountability? Ooh, nobody likes that word. Personal growth and personal development. Are you looking for peace of mind? Well, as you're watching this presentation, I will assure you that this will hopefully unlock some of these things for you. And who knows? Maybe it will give you some fundamental answers that you've been looking for. That's certainly my goal as I go through this with you. Well, stop and think about some of these principles. A tree's fruitfulness depends on its rootfulness. Let me say that again. A tree's fruitfulness depends on its rootfulness. What do we mean by that? Well, if you don't have a good root structure, you're not going to be bearing good fruit in the process. So, what are your dreams, desires, and the goals you have for your life? What is the fruit that you would like to show for all of the things that you do? When I ask this of any of my executive clients, I typically get responses like, well, I want a new home, I want a new car, I want a fancy car, I want a boat, I want to travel. Okay, I have no problems with any of those things. Please understand that. In fact, we'll even touch on some of those things as we go through this in this next few minutes. But what people really deep down are looking for is things like peace of mind. They want to make sure that their character and their integrity are intact. They do want good health, they do want travel, but they want more love and joy in their lives. So, what are you looking for as you go through this thing called life? We're going to be peeling back some of the layers of each of these different things to see if we can't help you get the things out of life that you are looking for. Well, as I mentioned, a tree's fruitfulness depends on its rootfulness. So let's look at some of those roots: mental, financial, spiritual, personal, physical, family, and career. These are some of the roots, the fundamental foundational roots that help our trees to grow and prosper so that we have the kind of fruit that we want. Let's look at it a little bit different way. Mr. Ziegler, many years ago, came out with the Wheel of Life, and he's got it based on 7 different spokes. These are the key areas of our life, and everything comes out of one of these spokes: physical, family, mental, financial, spiritual, career, and personal. So what I have clients do is I want you to rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 where you are on each of these different spokes. Now, I have an actual assessment tool that if you'd like a copy of that, I'll send that to you, that helps you rank yourself better. Then, once you've come up with a total score for each of these 7 areas, put a little dot by each of those places on each spoke. Then, connect the dots. That tells you if you are in balance in your life. You may be in great physical shape, but you got problems in your family. Maybe there are issues in your career, but spiritually, you're doing very well. We've got answers for you to help you get into balance with all of these things. You see, success is having more of the good things in life. Now, who defines what the good things are? You do. What are we talking about? Well, success is the maximum utilization of the abilities that God has given to you. It's just like those seeds of greatness that Mr. Ziegler said many years ago. We all have seeds of greatness that are within us, but are we utilizing those gifts and those abilities? Now, I want to share with you the fastest way to transform your life. Many years ago, Tom Ziegler, Zig's son, was down in Australia, and he was doing some business conferences down there. And at one of the breaks, somebody ran up to him and said, "Tom, what is the fastest way to success?" And Tom's response, without thinking, well, it's to replace bad habits with good habits. And The moderator for the event heard him say that when they resumed the conference at the end of the break. That host called Tom back up on stage and said, Tom, share with the crowd again what you just said a few minutes ago, the secret to success. And he said, well, the fastest way to success is to replace bad habits with good habits. The crowd went wild. Over the next few days, Tom was researching to see if somebody else had said that. He realized that nobody else had said that before. Tom then coined the phrase, the fastest way to success is to replace bad habits with good habits. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. You see, good habits are simply good choices that we make over and over again. Let me give you an example of a good choice versus a bad choice. Do you realize, and I'm not slamming Coca-Cola per se, but if you drank one bottle of Coke every day during the course of a year, you would be consuming as much as 10 pounds of sugar every year, and you'll probably gain 10 to 15 pounds. Well, what if you replace that one bad habit with a good habit, like drinking water? Oh, obviously, filtered water. Now, when you do that, you're replacing a bad habit with a good habit. Not only are you not consuming all of that sugar, but you're probably going to start losing some weight if that is one of your goals. So start with something simple like that. Let's go back to these roots. And do you notice something about this root structure? All of the roots are interconnected. You see, if you've got something going on in your family, you will take that into your office, into your work, and it will impact your work. If things are not going so well financially, it's going to impact your family, mental, your personal state. It may even impact your career. So stop and think about how all of these things are intertwined and how they impact your life on a day in and day out basis. Good habits nourish good roots, and success is the fruit of all of those good habits. Thank you, Tom Ziglar. Great quote. Mr. Ziglar used to say all the time, you can be what you want to be, you can do what you want to do, you can have what you want to have, you can give what you want to give. And when you give, you leave a legacy. But you have to be before you can do. You have to do before you can have. You have to have before you can give. And again, when you give, you're leaving a lifetime of legacies with all different kinds of people. So let's look at some of the ideas, some life-changing concepts. And I'm going to go through these 7 life-changing choices very quickly. Number 1, choose your input. What is your input? What are we talking about there? What you feed your mind determines your appetite. If you're continuously feeding your mind with negative things, that's what you're going to be dwelling on. But if you feed your mind with positive things, that is what you're going to be thinking about. So think about that as we go through this process. Feeding your mind is much like feeding your body. If you're eating a diet of nothing but sugary foods, guess what? You're going to continue to crave sugary foods. What else does it look like? Well, it looks like NASCAR. And here these NASCAR drivers are going around this track at 180 miles an hour. And I promise they do not feed their mind with things like, I don't want to run into the wall. No, they tell themselves where they want to go. Because if you start feeding your mind, I don't want to run into the wall, then you're going to naturally have those little micro movements, and all of a sudden you're going to find yourself running into the wall. So don't feed your mind with those negative things. Choice number 2, choose your principles and your values. This is all about character and integrity. Trust is the byproduct of your integrity. Now, I've been doing professional networking for many, many years, a lot of different networking organizations. And one of the things that they all have in common, they all say the same thing. People do business with the people they know, like, and trust. Well, if you're not a trustworthy person, people are not going to want to do business with you. So if there are comments about your character and your integrity, we got a problem. Nobody's going to do business with you. So you already have everything, all of the characteristics necessary for success. All you have to do is recognize, claim, develop, and use them. You've already got them inside of you. Maybe they need to be fine tuned a little bit, but you've already got them. Choice number 3, choose to be persistent and consistent. As I was talking with Tom not too long ago, I made the comment that the top 2 reasons for his dad's success, number 1 was his faith in God. Number 2, he chose to be persistent and consistent. Do it, and you will feel like doing it. Stop and think about that. When you start doing it, you're going to feel like doing it. Now, Mr. Ziglar famously told the story about a block in a mailbox. When he first started in his exercise program, he was getting ready to launch his first book, Biscuits, Fleas, and Pump Handles. It's now called See You at the Top. And he decided he needed to lose some weight. And he had gone to the Cooper Clinic in Dallas, and they said, Mr. Ziglar, we've got good news for you. You are not overweight. You are just under tall. They got a little chuckle out of that, and he realized he had to start exercising. He chose to start running. And the first day, he got all dressed up, and he's out the front door, and he ran a block. He stopped, he turned around, he walked back home. The second day, a block in a mailbox. Stopped, turned around, and walked back home. The third day, a block in 2 mailboxes. Stopped, turned around, and walked back home. Then he finally ran around the block, and then 2 blocks, and then a half a mile, and then a mile. And he consistently exercised. He consistently ran every single day for the rest of his life, as long as he was physically able to do it. He exercised. It didn't matter if it was 20 degrees below zero in Detroit or 120 degrees in Phoenix. He exercised every single day. Now, I'm not saying that he was running outside at 20 below. No, he was running in a gym, okay? So be consistent and persistent with the things that you are doing. Choice number 4, be a positive influence by being a good example to everybody that you're around. Are you leaving a positive legacy with your family by being a good example? Spending time with your spouse, with your children, your grandchildren. Are you leaving a good legacy? Legacy is when you teach and transfer habits that build character, integrity, and wisdom that will ripple through eternity. And you may not even know, probably won't know, the impact that you are having on other people's lives by the things that you are doing. Choice number 5, choose to hope and dream. You realize that your financial choices are those things that drive who you are to do the good things with the money that you make. So make wise financial choices. Work for a dream and not for a paycheck. There are too many people today that are just working for a paycheck. Choose to believe that it is morally good to earn money. It is morally good to make wise choices. I had a friend of mine many years ago that she was a single mom. She had 3 young daughters. And they would frequently come to her and say, Mom, I need a new pair of jeans, or I need a whatever it was. She would ask them all the time, do you need that or do you want that? Well, I need that because my jeans don't have white squigglies on the pockets. Today it would be my jeans don't have enough holes in the knees, those kinds of things. And Mom would quickly say, no, you want those things, but do you really need them? And as a result, those daughters turned up to be pretty amazing young ladies. and raising great families. Choice number 6 is true performance. Your career is your economic engine. What are you doing work-wise? What are you doing in your business, in your job? Your economic engine is what benefits everyone involved. Your family, both close as well as your extended family, those people around you, your church, other nonprofit organizations. Are you being benevolent because of what you have earned through your economic engine, your job or your business? This is the Ziglar performance formula. Attitude times effort times skill equals performance. So if you start a new job, day one, everything is a 1. Attitude is 1, effort, skill, they're all a 1. But if on day 2, your attitude is improved a little bit, now it's a 2, but everything else is still only a 1. Now your performance is a 2. What if your attitude and your effort go up, and now they are both 2s, but your skill is still only a 1? Now your performance is a 4. What if skill is now a 2 as well? Now 2 times 2 times 2. Now your performance is an 8. You see how simple that works? So work on all 3 of these different areas, your attitude, your effort, and your skill. You will continue to perform better. The downside is if you've got a bad attitude, it's going to impact your skill and your effort, and you'll have a negative performance level. So think about those things as you're moving forward. Choice number 7, choose to use your time wisely. You know, we've all been on commercial airlines, and the flight attendant says at the beginning of the flight, make sure you put the mask on yourself before you put it on your favorite child. Well, if you're on a Southwest Airlines flight, that's what they say. But put the mask on yourself first. Why? You have to refuel yourself. You have to protect yourself. If your tank is empty, how can you possibly refuel anyone else? You realize that gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions. So start your day with an attitude of gratitude in everything that you do. Start your day with gratitude. Let's shift gears just a little bit, and let's assume for a moment that this hot air balloon is your vehicle to get you the desires, the dreams, the goals, all of those things that you want. And in that basket is all of the desires, all of your dreams. But in order to get those dreams, you have to have hope or commitment that you're going to strive to achieve those things. But then you need grit and action in order to get there. So stop and think about that grit. That's that flame, that red hot flame that's going to propel you to new heights. But there's another aspect of this whole image, and that is those guide wires. What's holding you back? What's the negative input that you're holding onto in your mind? What are the things that people have said to you in the past? You can't do that. Why even bother? It's too expensive. You can't afford it. You can't. All of those negative things, those are roadblocks in our lives that are preventing us from getting the things that we want. So we've got to figure out a way to cut all of those tether lines, those things that are holding us back, those negative words and thoughts in our minds. That's what we have to do. So how do you do that? We'll share you in this program. So again, I ask you the question, what is your why? What are you looking for in your life? So what's next? What do I want to do with this information, Steve? You've given me a lot of great information of some different choices that I need to make. And about now, you may be thinking to yourself, this is all well and good, but I've got some questions. I'd like to offer you, if you qualify, I'd like to offer you a complimentary 1 hour strategy session. I've been doing these things for a long, long time. We got to figure out what those roadblocks are. I want to help you get past some of those roadblocks. In other words, I'm a professional onion peeler. I want to peel back layers of all of that stuff and get to the core, get to the root of what you genuinely want and how you want to proceed in your life. So what are you going to get when we go through this program? More time with your family, maybe financial freedom, better health, accountability, personal growth or personal development. Maybe you'll get peace of mind, more joy, more love in your life, better relationships, stronger integrity. If you follow this program, I promise that will be the fruit as long as you apply these basic principles. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. So you can take all of this information and do absolutely nothing with it, and you will be in the same place this time next year, maybe a little bit farther behind. You realize that living a life of purpose on purpose is all about the choices that we make. Living a life of purpose on purpose is a choice. You see, change starts with you, but it doesn't start until you do. Change starts with you, but it doesn't start until you do. As I wrap things up, I want to share this cute little anecdotal story. There are 5 bullfrogs that are sitting on lily pads. 3 of those frogs decide they're going to jump off the lily pads. How many frogs are left on the lily pads? Now, the funny thing is, every time I ask this question, the vast majority of the people say, well, it's only 2. You think, well, Steve, it's simple math. No, it's not simple math. Listen to the words I say. There are 5 bullfrogs that are sitting on lily pads. 3 of them decide to jump off the lily pads. How many are left? It's all 5, because all they did was decide that they were going to jump off the lily pads. They didn't take any action. One of my favorite stories when I was growing up as a little boy was The Little Engine That Could. And that story resonates with so many people because we have to believe that we can accomplish certain things. Tell yourself, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. No, change that to I know I can. I know I can. I know I can. And when you accomplish it and you see that goal right there in front of you, you're about to cross that finish line, you can say, I knew I could. I knew I could. I knew I could. You can choose to win. No, you must choose to win. It's all about the choices that we make. You can transform your life one simple choice at a time. Reach out today. I would love to schedule that complimentary strategy session. And it's as simple as a phone call, a text message, send me an email. You can even go directly to my website, StephenReedMinistries.com, and you can schedule your strategy session right there. Here's my goal. I want to bring light and hope so that you have a more victorious life on a day-to-day basis. It's my joy to be able to share this information with you. I hope that you've taken away a few little nuggets, and I hope you'll reach out. Let's schedule that time for that strategy session for you. Let's figure out what the roadblocks are. What are those tether lines? What's holding you back? Let's peel some of those layers back. And let's put a plan together to help you move forward so that you can achieve the things that are genuinely what you are looking for in life. This is Steve Reed, Stephen Reed Ministries, Stephen Reed Coaching.